In marital relationships, infidelity is not understood as an isolated act or a momentary impulse, but rather as a complex psychological phenomenon that often grows in the soil of emotional emptiness and feeds on accumulated daily pressures. This is supported by credible psychological studies that have examined behavioral patterns among women. The three common places for secret encounters discussed here are drawn from statistical data and investigative research on infidelity, not to generalize accusations against women, but to identify recurring statistical patterns that help us understand rather than condemn. And if you find in this discussion something that resonates with your awareness or opens a new angle of reflection, expressing your appreciation for the video and subscribing to the channel helps give this content its vitality and allows the dialogue to continue with greater depth and continuity. First place, the workplace. The workplace is considered one of the most fertile environments for the emergence of hidden relationships, not due to a prior intention to betray, but because of the nature of this space, which is built on daily proximity, continuous communication, and the sharing of pressures and achievements. According to reliable statistics, approximately 31% of extramarital relationships occur with a coworker, where professional familiarity gradually transforms into emotional closeness that exceeds its functional boundaries. Daily presence, ongoing conversations, and long working hours in the same environment all weaken psychological barriers over time, creating a false sense of safety and mutual understanding. Psychological and social studies also indicate that certain professional fields show higher rates of this pattern, particularly medicine and education, where work is characterized by high emotional strain, shared human responsibility, and deep interpersonal interaction. In the healthcare sector, for example, the percentage of women involved in extramarital relationships reaches about 23%, a figure that cannot be explained by desire alone, but rather by an unconscious need for emotional support and containment within psychologically demanding work environments. In such contexts, relationships rarely begin as explicit acts of infidelity. They often start as professional empathy, casual conversation, or shared daily concerns, before gradually slipping into a gray zone where emotions intertwine with obligations and full awareness of the danger of shifting from professional closeness to emotional entanglement fades. This is where the workplace becomes particularly risky. It does not expose infidelity quickly, but instead conceals it within a daily routine that makes it appear, at least initially, ordinary, even justified. Second place, girls' nights out or social gatherings. Girls' nights out and social gatherings are among the contexts that psychologically and behaviorally prepare the ground for the beginning of hidden relationships, not because they are inherently places of infidelity, but because they represent a temporary separation from the daily marital role. In such atmospheres, a woman often feels a greater sense of freedom and temporarily releases herself from routine pressures and responsibilities, creating a different mental state in which she becomes more open to spontaneous interaction. Social studies and statistics suggest that a significant number of illicit relationships begin in such settings, where several factors intersect: the absence of the partner, the presence of a supportive circle of friends, festive atmospheres, and a reduced level of direct social oversight. Together, these elements create a temporary sense of safety and make spontaneous encounters seem less risky than they truly are. Data also show that these gatherings often provide an ideal cover for secret meetings, especially when they take place in public venues such as bars, clubs, or private events, where the line between casual banter and intentional closeness becomes blurred. In this space, infidelity usually does not begin with a conscious decision, but with a series of small interactions: a glance, a brief conversation, a feeling of being noticed, followed by an internal sense of emotional entitlement. What makes these environments particularly sensitive is their ability to generate internal psychological justifications. A woman may convince herself that what is happening is merely a moment or a break from reality, without realizing that such fleeting moments can quickly turn into a hidden path that is difficult to reverse, especially when encounters are repeated under the same social cover. Third place, nearby cafes or gyms. Nearby cafes or gyms are among the most commonly used spaces as apparently safe venues for secret encounters, not because they raise suspicion, but because they are fully integrated into daily routine. Visiting a cafe is framed as relaxation, while going to the gym is justified as self-care or improving one's appearance, socially acceptable reasons that do not usually provoke questioning or doubt. Behavioral research and investigative studies indicate that these places are preferred for two main reasons: geographical proximity and relative privacy. Proximity makes meetings easy to repeat without attracting attention, while public settings provide a false sense of security, where everything appears normal and familiar. According to investigative studies, these environments record a high rate of hidden encounters precisely because they allow unspoken intentions to blend seamlessly into an innocent-looking, repetitive routine. In many cases, the process does not begin with a planned meeting, but with casual acquaintance repeated by time and place, exchanged glances, short conversations, and then growing familiarity with shared presence. This daily repetition creates a kind of silent intimacy that can gradually evolve into a hidden emotional bond, without the woman realizing that she has crossed a clear line at the outset. Psychological studies warn that subtle behavioral changes are often the first indicators of this trajectory, such as frequent outings without clear explanations, sudden insistence on specific places, or unjustified sensitivity to simple questions. Conversely, research emphasizes that prevention is not based on suspicion or surveillance, but on building strong emotional communication that fills emotional gaps before the psyche seeks to fill them elsewhere. When both partners feel understood and emotionally contained, the unconscious need to escape diminishes, and places remain just places, not secret gateways to something deeper.